going on, nothing's really wrong. Let's just wait and see. Someday it's not so far away. Just to carry on, pretend there's nothing wrong. Let's just wait and see. Some pray God will show the way.
Hey everybody, it's The Trout. You just heard the song Be the Change by Julia Doherty, a very talented Australian singer-songwriter. Julia is one of those people, maybe there's tens of them, hundreds of them, maybe thousands of very talented individuals that never gets their music discovered so people can hear it across this planet. And what we're looking at on this series of Undiscovered Artists is finding those individuals that we believe should be able to be heard no matter where they reside. Give them maybe a broader audience so you can decide, because there's a lot of people like Julia out there. But also her message in Be the Change is very important. And that is, if you want to change the planet, it has to start with each one of us. Also, she has a great way of writing music, and you're going to discover how she does that. And that's next on KT and the Trout.
KT and the Trout Show!
Let me start with the basic stuff of the reason I contacted you is this song, Be the Change, okay? Now, as soon as I heard it, I went, I really like that song. That's you.
Thank you. That is
And
me.
it is you. And I didn't really understand the meaning until I started reading about you and seeing some of the things that you wrote about and what you're trying to accomplish with your music and your, obviously your life and things like that. But is that a fairly new song? Is it something you started writing a year ago and then took it to your
I
friend?
wrote it at the end. I wrote it at the end of 2019
Okay.
and recorded it in
Before
2020.
the pandemic started.
Yes,
Right.
before the pandemic started. Yeah, yes.
So for those people that are listening to this or watching it, Julia Doherty. Doherty, right? As I spell your last name?
Doherty.
Doherty.
Julia
Okay.
Doherty.
There you go. And it'll say it underneath her. You'll have your name spelled out. Hopefully I spell your name right. So she played the song on LinkedIn, for those of you who are LinkedIn people, and I love the song. So I reached out to her. So she wrote a song and recorded it called Be the Change. It's really one of those songs that I'm a rock blues guy. So when I write songs, it's usually blues or rocky or kind of poppy. I wish I could write a song like that. And it's the song, the way it's put together. Now, I know people that spend enormous amounts of time on YouTube trying to describe how songwriters write a song. But most people I know that write songs just write the song. They don't sit around. And I know this for you because after I said, and we corresponded through email, and I said, what instrument you play? And you said, a ukulele. And I went, wait a minute.
Let me clarify. I
Okay.
do not play the ukulele. I can play a few chords.
On the ukulele. Okay.
Yes.
So, and I'm gonna for those people that listen to this, you would have heard the music before. So your song
And I
is
can
gonna
do
be
that on the piano too. I can play a few chords, but I don't play anything professionally that I could back myself and go out there.
Okay, so let me just kind of tell you, everybody that's a songwriter writes, everybody does it differently. I mean, you get the bug, you can't stop, you want to write. I was talking to somebody earlier today, they knew somebody that had a 2-year hiatus, they had block and all that stuff. But what you told me was, what's most interesting thing to me was this, was you take it into your recording studio, your friend who's a producer, do you just sing it to him, or what do you do for him to translate your song into recording?
Yeah, well, with Aussie Dogs, I just sang it to him.
Okay, so tell everybody tell everybody what the Aussie Dogs is.
Okay, so Aussie Dogs is a concept. It's music for kids.
Okay.
And it's for Australian dogs. And I've written books for it. I was hoping for it to become a cartoon series, that Aussie Dogs Adventures.
Okay.
So it's for Australian dogs that work on a farm, but they sing secretly in the barn at night.
I love it. I love it.
And that's how Aussie Dogs came about. And Dead Set is the jingle for it. And then Who's Your Mate was the first song I wrote. I took them all to Nigel. Some I just played out a chord here and there on the keyboard, but mostly I actually sing into my phone or straight to the person. And Nigel just played it for me straight away as soon as I started singing it for it. So he just accompanied me and we just recorded it. We do everything in one go. I don't have money to employ musicians and do stuff, so it's all very quickly done. Yeah, it's the same with Be the Change. I actually contacted another musician and he did a recording, or I sung it to him the same with the lyrics and the singing. I didn't love it, and I went to Nigel, and Nigel has done that track for me, but it was so similar to what I had already not liked, and I didn't have the money to say, I don't really love the way this works.
Yeah.
So I've just gone with it because I just paid a musician to come in $150 for the day. He played a song straight away. He leaves and I just go in and record it then. And it's as simple as that.
So Nigel is the owner and also the producer engineer at, what's the name of the studio again? The name of the studio? Pegasus Studio. And where is it located?
It's located in Cairns, which is an hour drive from me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm up the hill in Atherton Tablelands and he's down in Cairns on the coast.
Okay. So when you hear this song, and I'm going to, Julia was kind enough to send me the music for it, but here's the thing I want you to listen to. She sang this song and then they added all the music kind of after the fact, which is really kind of cool. Because when I write a song, I do all the tracks. All the music I do all the instruments. So and I might ask somebody in Arizona to do something for me, play guitar or play harmonica or play something like that. That is an extraordinarily cool way to do things because two things happen. One, you have to be able to tell people what you're singing, even though you're singing in the phone, and you have to have a concept of how the whole song flows, right? You can't just go, I've got an idea. It's called Be the Change. How's it go? Be the change.
I have a complete melody and lyrics to go with it. Yeah, it's a full song. Yes.
So, and
it has accompanied.
Yeah, I mean, so that's, and then you have to, your friend that owns the studio was kind enough to go in and put it together for you. And I know, because I'm a producer myself, I know how you put it together, but it sounds really good. And at the end of the day, that's, as an artist, that's all you care about to a certain degree. So tell people what the song really means. I mean, obviously when you listen to it, but at first when I listened to it, I couldn't figure out, is it be the change in everything or be the change in this? And then as I started reading more into your listening to your music and all that, what's the song meaning for you when you wrote it? What's it for?
Okay, it is to cover everything. And I thought you're probably going to look at my profile and think it may be just about needing to change our diets, but it's not what it is. It's about everything. To me, I just think that we live in such a violent world and everything starts with us. And so I want us to be the change, but we seem to all want to take the lead from the government. Well, we don't need to. We can all change straight away. We can change the system straight away. All we have to do is think differently and speak differently to each other. So I don't want to use the word kindness because everybody uses that word kindness, sprinkle that shit everywhere.
Right.
But I find that kindness has a line with most people. They draw it somewhere. So I think that we just need to be against cruelty all the time. That means everything.
Well, and I think, and this is the one thing, and I talk to musicians all over the world, is music is universal. And the languages may be different, but music is universal. And I think you're 100% right. And that is, too many people want to watch from the sidelines and complain about everything, but don't want to do anything about it. And your song resonated with me because I thought it really speaks to the fact that if you want things to change, you got to make the difference. You have to make the change. And that's really what I really liked about the song, because it really was universal in its idea. And it wasn't just, hey, let's change this part, let's change. You want things to change, be the change.
That's
And
it.
those that, and you as a songwriter, you did that. You were the beginning of Be the Change. You really the one that started it and said, let's be the
It
change.
happened in the shower, that song. I was literally in the shower.
You were in the shower, ran out, sang on your phone. Got it.
Yes, yeah,
You
yeah.
sounded a little
And
like you were on the moon when you were talking, but it's okay.
so it actually, if my version goes, some say there's no need for change. So you can see I can't play, so I won't put you through anymore. But yeah, so I just was strumming it. I can strum a few chords and make up on that, but it's not enough to make a song. So I have to go to a professional musician.
All right, so here's a question for you as a songwriter. Do you know what key it's in? Do you have
It's
any
in
idea?
C.
It is in C.
It's in
Okay.
G. It's in G. Hang on.
Okay.
Yes, it's
It's
in
in G.
G. Only it's in G, G, E minor, C,
I knew it had a minor in it.
D.
And
It's
and
four
so
chords. There's a
so
whole four chords.
okay. But it goes when it goes to the bridge, what does it change to?
Doesn't. I only loop it. Oh, you mean the bit where it goes, governments
Yeah.
hesitate.
Yeah. What's the chords there?
You
That,
and me, we do not have to wait. Yeah. Let's be the change we need. That was
right.
my original, but as you can see, it's
It's
changed a
different.
bit. So the chords and the key are different than in the studio than what I wrote it, because my writing is quite basic in that way.
Yeah, but you know what? You conveyed your message. That's what's cool about it.
That's it. Yeah, it
And
was good enough to do. Yeah.
well, when Nigel got done with it, finished with it, what did he say to you? Did he say like, that's good, or did he say thanks, have a nice
Yeah,
day?
well,
Or
see, with Nigel, I came to this one with music because I'd already spoken to another musician. So he'd already put a backing track together for me, and he was overseas. And I didn't love the backing track. I want it to be more acoustic and more simple. I don't want it to be as full as it is, the version that I have now.
yeah, but you know what? That's really a cool version. The way they put the
It
synths in,
is.
the synths, and I tell you already, as soon as I listened to it, I said I want to put something in there, but it's not long enough. So if you had an extra section in there, like 8 bars, I'd put a lead guitar part in there to really boost. I
Yes.
mean,
So like I
I would
said,
do that for you, but I mean, I just heard I could. Oh, that needs to stop, and it needs this long sustaining guitar part, and build up crescendo, boom, and go out with it.
it was actually a failure in communication of me. So I came to him with that song, with what the chords have been that the other guy did for me. But I told him I didn't love it, and he just didn't speak to me again. He just completely cut me off, that person.
No,
I mean, blocked me and everything. I didn't expect that reaction, honestly.
no. Let me.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so I took it to Nigel, and like I said, everything's about time. And so he basically nearly replicated what I gave to him, and it's not what I wanted. I wanted it different, but I just didn't have the time to say, look, let's start all over from scratch. So we've got Giles Smith in, who's playing the guitar on it, and he's brilliant, Giles. I worked with him years ago at a place called Newcastle Workers Club, where I actually started as a singer. It was in a 10-piece band.
We haven't
that
gotten
was
there yet, but we'll get there in a second, because I
no,
usually start with people start out. But go ahead, finish that.
So
Finish that
he
thought.
came in, he knocked it out, played it on the guitar, and then I just did the rest of the day singing it, and then Nigel fixed it up. So everything's done in a day.
I will tell you this, two things. One is people get real sensitive about their music. And the one thing I learned a long time ago was, if you're going to be a songwriter and you're going to put your music out, you better get over it. You may have not liked the way it came out, but maybe it was meant to be that way, because it really sounds good. And
Yeah.
I think, and I think you could get some international exposure on that song. I really do. I think,
Well, I would love to, because I didn't write that song for international exposure,
no,
as
I
in
know
to
you
be a
didn't. I know
famous
you
singer.
didn't.
I wrote it for international exposure to help the world. I want to participate. I want to make a difference. I think that we all can. It's the smallest things that can make change. As Margaret Mead says, never underestimate, a group of individuals to make change, because they're the only ones that ever have.
So let's start about where did your musical abilities, when did it start with you? When did you know you
I
wanted to write a
have
song?
1976 at
Oh,
the
wow.
drive-in, the back of the ute. The parents were in the car, the kids were in the ute, and we were watching A Star Is Born with a Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson.
Christopherson, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry. And I said, that's it. I'm going to be a singer.
And
A Star Is Born.
your mom turned to you and said, "Okay, honey, go ahead." As all parents do.
No. Yeah. So no, my mother didn't have a musical note in her body, but her father, my grandfather, was a magnificent piano player. His sister was a magnificent singer, and my father was a singer. Yes. So there was music in the family, and I have just literally sung since I could open my mouth. You could not stop me.
So from that point on, you went to school, and you probably sang in school, or where did you kind of get your chops at? I mean, you had to be able to sing somebody, and what were you doing? I mean, did you sing in school? I mean, up here, in the South, it's all we went to church and sang in church. But I mean, what did you do?
Well, I'm not from a religious family, so it didn't happen in church. I didn't have a choice. It wasn't something I thought about. And once I saw Barbra Streisand, and my mother's husband, he was my stepfather, he had a fantastic record collection that I was not allowed to touch.
Oh, no.
But every time he left the house, I snuck in there and I played Cat Stevens and Bread and Karen Carpenter and Barbra Streisand. That was, my mother had every Barbra Streisand album. And so I was secretly listening to the adult music, and he had the Beatles collection in the box, the whole thing. So I was influenced by my parents' music that I used to listen to when they went out, because I wasn't allowed to touch the precious record collection, because remember how easy your record scratch back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the last thing you're allowed to do was the children to touch it. So
yeah.
I was a secret sneaker of the records.
But listen, where's Julia? She out doing drugs? No, she's listening to records. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with her?
No, the drugs came later.
Well, we won't talk about that. But anyway.
We won't.
And it's funny because you talk to the kids nowadays, sounds like somebody older, but they don't know anything about albums or CDs or, my parents are old enough, they had 78s. Then we had albums. And I remember
33s.
My first album I got when I was very young. My parents said, "What do you want for Christmas?" I wanted Beatles 65 in stereo, because it was in stereo. And I went, listen to that. And now when you listen to it, it's pretty crappy, because the stereo, the recording sessions, they only had like 4-track or 8. They had nothing. But to me, it was like, oh my God, they're in stereo. And
the first album I bought was 10cc.
Ah.
Yeah.
Was it the one with "We're Not in Love," or was it another one? Because they had several albums.
Yes, it had all of it. It had Rubber Bullets on it. I can't remember the name of the albums. We are talking quite a while ago. But I remember Rubber Bullets was on it. That cricket song was on it. I'm pretty sure, yeah. We're Not in Love.
Yeah, Godly and Cream. Godly and Cream. Interesting. If you ever get a notion to follow the history of that song, how they got the sound. I'm not going to tell you how they got it, but you need to go look it up, because it has a bizarre sound in the background with it. It's an interesting story. They spent a lot of time on that song, and of course it weighed.
Great song.
It's a great tune. Are they Australian or British? I don't remember which one. British.
10cc. Well, I would have thought they were American. So if they're not American, they must be British. They're not Australian.
British. They're not. Yeah, they're not. We would never have anybody named Godly and Cream.
Let's make sure you don't put that on the internet, that we don't know that.
I'll call Godly or Cream. Hey guys, could you talk for me real quick, and can I get your accent and tell you what you're from? And then you had a life And you're still writing music all these years later. Do you have a family? You have kids, all that good stuff? Or are you?
I don't know. I've never had kids. I got married many years ago that lasted very shortly. I have dogs. I'm the woman that they talk about, dog woman in the street.
And how many, let's just check it out. How many dogs
It's
do you
just
have?
two
Just
dogs.
two?
Just two dogs. Yeah, yes.
What is it you want to do with your music? I mean, you want to do this Aussie dog thing, but do you, and I saw something on LinkedIn. Do you write jingles for people, or you just, or something you
I
offer?
started Aussie Dogs.
I'm sorry?
It's something that I offer dogs, the
Okay.
concept music for children. I actually came up with that idea in 2007. And I didn't get it off the ground till 2013. And I put over $50,000. I put everything I had into Aussie Dogs, and it didn't go anywhere. And I'm just one of those musicians that's just pottering along, and I just work here and there. I don't work professionally as a musician anymore. I used to.
Yeah.
Now I just try and pay my rates and my mortgage and the petrol in my car.
Which I can only imagine how expensive it is in Australia. As expensive it is in America. So yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I'm just a nobody that sings songs. I'm just a legend in my own living room. I did study music at the Melbourne Conservatorium, and that was with classical because I am actually a high soprano.
Oh wow.
But that's not my thing. Then I went and studied jazz with a lady called Kerry Bedell in Sydney, and she's a fantastic jazz singer in Australia. And then since then, it's really just been I've done duos, trios, and bands. I had a band called Suicidal Christmas Trees. I had a duo trio called Yes,
Suicide. Honey,
Suicidal
watch
Christmas
out! It's a
Trees.
Christmas tree. It's coming. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it came from a friend that lived in Europe. He said all those poor trees, we grow them every year and cut
And then we
them
cut them
down. They're
down.
suicide. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I had a duo called Lounge Room Dreamers. That was pretty successful in Darwin. We worked all the time. I was making quite a good living with that. And I also worked as the lead singer with my very first job was with Newcastle Workers Club in a 50-50 band. So that was 10 different sets, and each set was a different dance from Pride of Erin to rock and roll.
Oh wow,
And
that's
I was
interesting.
17. I was 17 when I started that.
So I think, the funny thing about it is sometimes, the old saying, you're never a prophet in your own land. That may be the situation with you. Aussie dogs might go over real big in America, but nobody in Australia cares. I can see that concept because it's like when I talk to people in the UK, I say, you know how Americans are. In Australia is kind of the same way, the accent. Americans just go gaga over people with English accents. I don't know if it's the Beatles era, or I don't know, too much Victorian movies or what. But I said, you could say anything, and they go, oh my God, listen to his accent. And I think your concept of Aussie dogs is probably one of those things. I could see it as a children. One day you'll be famous and rich and go, how did you get there? Some dude named Rick helped me. Really? Where's he now?
Rick,
I don't know.
if that happens, mate, I'm not the sort of person that would forget.
No, I'm just kidding. But I mean,
And
sometimes
I
that's what
really would
happens.
like to make music to make money to give back. I'm not an accumulator. I would be helping.
Yeah.
I would want to help with change. It's so sad to see that people can't afford to eat or they have nowhere to live. When I was in America, I actually have never seen so much homelessness. It was quite an eye-opener for me when I was in New York and Philadelphia, which was in 2013. And that's when Aussie Dogs happened. I contacted some friends back in Australia, said, okay, I want to get this off the ground. And I did. I made it happen. I got it all together. But then I think it's hard to get into the business. I don't think it's really all to do with accents, and I think a lot to do with who knows somebody and being in the right place at the right time. I mean, who's your mate? I mean, how can you not love that song? That is dead set, the best
Yeah.
song ever. Who's your mate? Who's your
Yeah.
mate? It's your dog. He's your best friend. He's your mate. I find a lot of my friends are disappointed in me. They think that I should have made it and that I haven't tried hard enough. But it's not the case. I've auditioned for many things over my life. I've tried many things, and then you just get to a point where you think, okay, well, I don't know what else I can do. I don't know anyone. I'm not a great networker because I'm an introverted extrovert. So it's hard for me.
I had a feeling you were kind of introverted by your comments
I
to
am,
me.
and that's the thing. And so
Yeah.
I can do this and be extroverted, but it's not me. I write. I'm also a big writer, and not just of music. So I spend a lot of time, and I like being alone. And so I haven't got that network out there that helps me branch out. And so, but I have tried many things over the years, but no, nothing has been successful for me.
A lot of people don't get discovered, but that doesn't
That's it.
mean, you can't have an impact. And sometimes that means it could be an impact on your local community. It could be bigger than that. And I still think that people that with talent, here's the whole thing for it. You have to give up your life to get there. You really have to. But now I have an opportunity to possibly bring people forward that have the talent that got kind of maybe not passed over, but nobody found out about them. And you're one of those people that I heard the song and I go, okay, somebody has to know about her because it's such a good song. And sometimes there was a guy that actually wrote, a psychologist or something, figured out why we have one-hit wonders. He actually discovered why we have one-hit wonders. He looked, I didn't read the article, but he looked into the psychology of why we have one-hit wonders. Well, there are some people that had one-hit wonders that became millionaires. So, you know, but
And that was it. We need this song so badly. We really do need to be the change. I think that this song could heal the world. I know that sounds silly, but
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And do you think, do you feel like it was a little epiphany that you were singing this in the shower and went, oh my goodness, this is really a good song? Did you know immediately when you sang it, you went, this is really good?
yes, I knew immediately, and that's why
funny how you know
I
that.
left the shower and ran straight to my phone to put it down because I can't forget this. I need to put this down straight away. And I knew that it was universal. I knew that it was a song for the world, for everybody, like a theme, like we are the world, you know.
Yeah.
I knew straight
1985,
away.
that was
and that's why. I mean, I don't contact Nigel with every song. I couldn't afford to do that. So
No.
I knew straight away. I got that song and I thought I have to make this into a song. And that's why I progressed to do it, to proceed to make that happen. And that's why now I'm trying to get people to hear it. And thankfully somebody like you has heard it and liked it.
Well, that doesn't do any good unless I spread it around. I mean, that's the
spread it like the virus, Rick.
All right, so
you don't need any vaccines for this song.
That's true. You don't need any vaccines.
You know what? My dream house is very small, and it's on a lot of land with a lot of animals. But the house would be small. I'll never go bigger than I'm in now because I've got to clean it. I see these huge houses, and I think, how do they clean these houses? I want a little brick cottage that I can write in till I die. I'd be happy to have an outdoor amphitheatre where I can have live concerts, or really the dream would be to have my own little bar, where I can rock up once a month because I've got my musos that play there every week. They know my songs. I can come in and sing, have a drink, have a feed, go again. That'd be lovely.
And now taking us out tonight, live from not Brisbane, but someplace close to it, Julia Doherty. What are you going to sing tonight for us, Julia?
This is called Puck You. Did you know you'd leave that day? Did you know that you'd run away? If I know that you were gonna go that day, this is what I'd like to say. How bad's my playing? Go fuck yourself, fuck someone else, 'cause I don't need you anyway. Go fuck yourself, fuck someone else, 'cause I don't need you anyway.
KT in the Trap